There we go. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I think we're gonna have a small intimate group tonight, which I absolutely love. And so with that, in the chat, let's find out where you guys are calling in from. I think try to remember, Starlight, where you're from. Let's see here. So I'm actually dialing in for my parents here in Wilmington, Delaware, spending some time with the family. Rhonda's in sunny Victoria. Starlight is in Panama. Oh my gosh, what a cool place to be. All right. So Caribbean island
Yeah.
style. I love it. I love it. So here's what we have in store today. I love to start these with a quick meditation. It gives us the opportunity to really get grounded. My intention for you all today is to connect with one another, do a little networking, but really I'm going to do a short teaching too, and we'll do some healing around quantum level prosperity. So the prosperity happy hour really came from this place of wanting to bring women together to talk about prosperity, and money seems to be such a taboo topic. It's a topic a lot of women aren't comfortable talking about, and we live in a culture where if it's not like flashy, 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 there's not a whole lot of space to just be like humble and real. So this is a real place to get real about what's going on and how we can support one another and up level. I am not streaming today. I wanted, with the group being smaller, I think we're just going to keep it small and intimate so we can be wild and we can share all that's on our minds, and just take things like, ladies, raise your hand if you're ready for next level success. You ready for it? I know I am. Like there's always another level. It's funny. I've got this background going. I'm not really used to it. So anyway, it's weird when I can't see my hands. I got to come in. It's like, whoa, but it speaks to the quantum is what you sometimes can't see, where you can't see it. And then all of a sudden the veil becomes thin and miracles happen. So I think it's kind of funny here. All right, ladies, let's go ahead and let's do a quick meditation and enter the quantum field where the real magic happens. So I'm going to have you close your eyes, feet on the ground, and let's begin. Spine is straight, shoulders drop down, and begin by taking some nice deep breath in as we breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. We come in this sacred circle, a circle of women who are ready to experience quantum level prosperity and abundance. Above your head, I want you to imagine a beautiful golden light. And imagine it streaming in from the heavens. It begins to enter the top of your head. You might feel it as a warmth on your crown chakra as you open and receive, allowing that golden light to clear out any of the lower vibe energies that repel money and success and connection. Allow that light to infuse every cell of your body. Feel it enter the brain. It descends down the neck, comes down the shoulders, into the arms, into the fingertips, coming down the spine. It fills up your chest, your lungs, your heart, coming down, down, down. Feel it, filling up all your organs, all your bones. It fills up your pelvis. It descends down the top of the legs, the knees, the lower legs, the feet, all the way down into the earth. Follow that energy down like a golden light into your roots. Imagine your roots like the roots of a tree. Follow them down, down, down as you release and let go of anything that's no longer serving you, that would keep you from entering a new vortex where miracles happen. This vortex, we call it open today. As two or more are gathered, the miracles really do happen. So just feel yourself filled up with this golden light, and then feel that light extending into the room that you're in. All you see is light, 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 light. It extends out into the community that you're in, out into the country that you're in. The light is like a golden light that it wraps around the whole planet. is you are tapped into the network, the unlimited network. Let's bring your hands now to your heart, feeling that beautiful pulse of love in your heart. And I want you to set an intention for yourself and your business today. I want you to think about, as we wrap up the call today, how do you want to feel? Set that intention here and now. Feeling more joyful, more connected, more magnetic, whatever the energy is. Set that intention now. Imagine it already done. It is so. We open our eyes and we begin. Whew. All right. As we look into the camera with a gentle nod, I see you, ladies. I know what you're up to, living in that quantum field. All right. Fantastic. So let's do this. Let's do just a little introduction. I know most of the women in the room, but not everybody else knows everyone. And we do want to have some of that networking component here. As I said, we're going to be able to keep it nice and intimate today. And so we'll just go round robin. I'll have you actually unmute yourself one at a time and just tell us like what brought you into this conversation today. And in business, like who do you serve? You know, like a little, don't go on and on and on. Like I'm thinking like 2 minutes or less, maybe even a minute, like short and sweet. Like, yeah, what drew you in? If you can write that in the chat, Kim, because some people are like, what did she ask? What drew you to this call tonight? And who do you serve in a minute or 2 minutes? So hop right in, ladies. So just unmute yourself. Starlight.
I can go. So, hi, everybody. My name is Starlight. My business name is Bottled Lightning. I forget how I started crossing paths with you, but I've seen you in LinkedIn and some other things. And I was like, eventually I'm going to make it to one of these networking things. My intention is really about broadening my inner circle of business baddies. I feel like I've been kind of like one woman wilding it for a while. So I'm stoked to be in a community of other like minded. I am a business strategist and I help online entrepreneurs who are trying to make the world a better place grow and scale their business. And I do it with Bottled Lightning, right? It feels like magic, but somehow I package it up and deliver it in little bite-sized bottles all the time. So that's me. It's really nice to meet all of you. I'm glad to be here.
Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. All right. Who wants to jump in next? Rhonda.
All right. So I'm Rhonda Payne. I'm the girl with a pen. I'm a writer because girl with a pen sounds better than girl with a keyboard. So I do freelance writing for all kinds of things. But right now, what I'm really looking to do is grow in service to B2B and B2B to C companies. So those that are like manufacturers that have consumer goods. And I just want to help them get their message out there, talk about what they do. What drew me to this call, I've done some work with Kelly in the past, and every so often I just need that refill.
Yes, fill you up. Absolutely. Fantastic. Welcome, Rhonda. All right. Carmel, you want to jump in?
Yes, hi. Carmel Ecker, Speak Now Life Coaching. And I focus on, well, here, what drew me to this call? Kelly, as always.
No, thank you.
Um, and I have been on, I think I made it to one other call.
Yes.
So, yeah, and I had enough warning this time that I was like, okay, I'm blocking that time off. Although I actually blocked off the wrong time. I blocked off 2 to 3 because
Oh no.
I was like, I had it in my head that it was Central Time, and so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, so 1 o'clock my time. Anyways, neither here nor there. I still had 2 to 3 open. And who do I serve? I serve single parents. So I am a single parent, have been for 9 years. It can be a tough journey right at the start. And the toughest part about it is the mindset that we take on when we first become a single parent. So my job, my calling is to help other single parents see it as the greatest gift that they've ever
Mm,
received in their life, as opposed to, you know, the short end of the stick.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because when you see it that way and you look at for the and you're looking for the opportunities, it changes everything.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right. So I want to talk, and this will be, really conversational because I'm coming from the perspective that I really believe everything is energy. Everything is energy, right? And I remember actually seeing a little video, and I didn't go out and look for the clip, but it was metronomes. Do you ladies know what a metronome is? Keeping time, right? It goes back and forth and back and forth. Gosh, this really background thing. I don't know if I'm gonna do it again. It's kind of weird for me because I use it on my hand talker. But anyway, there were several of them, and they were all set, and they were all on a different rhythm, right? And you're sitting there and you're watching it and you're watching it and you're watching it. And what do you think eventually happens? So bunch of those metronomes all off on different rhythms. What do you think eventually happens if given time? Want to guess? Starlight. Can't hear you.
They unify and start clicking to the same time.
Yes.
Although
Isn't
Yeah.
that
theoretically, if they're
amazing?
working properly, they shouldn't do that.
I'm
Well,
thinking that shouldn't
What is
happen if they're
properly, right? Right? Quantum though, baby.
uh,
Quantum
they
though,
do.
baby.
They
Quantum,
do.
baby, quantum.
Quantum, right? They all will get into rhythm and sync, and it's amazing. It's amazing. And one of these days, I'll grab. I'm sure there's tons of videos online, but like you just sit there in what appears to be in our lives can be a lot of chaos, right? And when we're out, what I call being out of sync, or I call it flow state. But when we're out of flow and we're in that chaos and we're not feeling connected and things don't seem to happen, I ask myself, like, what's off? What's off? And often it's my energy's off. My energy's off, and my energy is related to my beliefs, but everything is energy. And we know that when we can get in the flow, it is like magic. It's like jumping into a river that you can just kind of lay on your back and be taken to where you want to go. And I think that when it comes to prosperity, first of all, gathering you ladies, let me tell you, yeah, it's fun for business, but it's also fun for me and everyone included in a conversation around prosperity, because we're going to all start to sync together in a similar flow, in a similar rhythm, if we're willing to let go and be in that flow of that high vibe state. I'll give you an example. When it comes to money, is one of the reasons I actually began Worth International is I was part of several high-end masterminds. And I'll never forget the first time I plopped down $23,000 to be part of this high-end mastermind. And at that time in my life, I really didn't have that kind of money. That was a big investment. That was a big, oh my gosh, can't believe I'm doing it. But I had plateaued in my business. And I was like, I'll do whatever it takes. And one of the things that I was promised was you're going to be in a group of high-end women that and the minimum to get in was 6 figures. That was the minimum. And I'm thinking, wow, and you might want to write this down. I'm sure you've heard of it. Proximity is power. Have you ladies heard that? Proximity is power, right? And so I joined the group. And what was really tough for me is that I was one of the only women in the room that actually did meet that 6 figures, and they had let people in lower than 6 figures. Now, I had a real challenge around that because of this mechanism I'm talking about. Like we sync of what we think is normal, we will normalize with who we're hanging out with, right? And so that whole year, I found that I was coaching. I was spending a lot of the energy trying to bring the group up, and there were very few of those like higher level. I didn't have the leadership above me that would have been great. And in the end, I got a lot out of the program, but I didn't really see some of the results. And so why do I bring this to you is that I do believe that whatever you normalize with will be your reality. So it's fantastic if you can come together and start to create that vortex where normal is where you're wanting to go, where you're wanting to go. So that whole, with everything being energy, not only do you want to look at your internal rhythm and your internal energies, and we're going to talk a little bit today about the 4 energies that block you from next level abundance. Also think about who are you hanging out with. So some of the idea of this prosperity hour is like, what if we would bring together women that are committed to quantum level their business? Like, not like one of these things that like takes years and years and years, but what would it look like to be in a community that sees massive growth fast? So you ladies in, does this sound like a thing you'd want to be part of? Okay. So that's why we're gathered. That's where we're gathered. With that intention, and intention is powerful. And you can hear my parents' phone in the background, but we're just going to roll with that, right? All right. So these are the 4 energies that block you from next level of money. And I want to talk about it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you what they are, and you're going to rate yourself. There's nothing like just being real with yourself. And then we're going to have a conversation around that. And we might even use a little bit of the peace and prosperity process today and some of the healing to start to clear some of these energies. But you've got to know where you are energetically to help figure out like what really needs to be cleared here. So we want to write these down. These are the 4 energies. The first one is fear. Fear. And so on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being you are in that place of just a whole lot of fear around money, about the next paycheck, about the next client, about how am I going to pay my bills? Or, you know, it could look like maybe you're actually doing okay, but you're watching TV and you're learning about the, you know, this big recession, like all of that. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's, you know, I'm going to lose everything. Right. So fear could already have a great deal of clients and your ideal clients. And so fear could be the fear of loss, of losing it all. So on a scale of 1 to 5, I want you to rate yourself. How much fear do you think you have? And today we're going to focus on, there's different areas of life for abundance. Today we are focusing on the money part. In some of my other programs, we look at relationships and self-care and some of the other things. But for today, we're narrowing in on money, on that taboo topic of money. So from 1 to 5, self-rate yourself. How much fear do you think you have around money? The second one is anger. So anger can show up as like angry that you're not making the money that you think that you deserve. Angry that when you go and post on social that no one's responding, or you're getting, you know, very little traction, you're angry. Angry that you have a friend who's maybe not as you know, maybe not as well, I shouldn't say not as good as you, but you know somebody that is cranking it financially, and maybe they're not a good person, and you're like, I'm angry, that's not fair, I'm such a good person, right? Anger can show up many different ways. So how angry are you? And sometimes you're just angry that there are wealthy people on the planet and that there are really poor people, and that just angers you. Okay. So rate yourself from 1 to 5. Okay. Next one, guilt. Major energy blocker. So the guilt looks like this, like, oh, but if I make it, oh my gosh, I feel so guilty. My family's struggling, or my, you know, that just the guilt piece, right? It can show up many different ways. It could even show up around, you know, the guilt of having the money, so that you just give it away, and that you are left in that position where you're really compromised. I remember working with a woman who, during a divorce, she acquired like $1 million, and she's this beautiful, sweet soul. And the very first thing that she did, she actually gave, and I'm not sure if it was to a person or a group, I don't remember, but like $800,000 of it. So, you know, that's a lot of money. And then when she came to me, she was in a position where that last 200,000 was used for other things. And she was in a really compromised state. So she had a little bit of guilt around acquiring $1 million? You know, many of us are like, gosh, if I just could have $1 million, like that would be the ticket, right? So where guilt shows up is when, you know, you have it and then you can't keep it because you feel guilty and you just want to give it away, or the thought of even having that much when other people are suffering, you would feel guilty being the one that's well provided for. Like, why me when they're suffering? Okay, 1 to 5. And then the last one, shame. Shame. Shame shows up as not looking at bank statements, not looking at credit card statements, not even wanting to look at the money of what that you have or that you don't have, credit card debt, school debt, like all the shame. Maybe you went on a shopping spree and now you're feeling guilty because you were so good that you weren't spending, and then you went overboard. So shame can show up many different ways. So 1 to 5 on shame. And then add them all together. Add them all together. Okay. Now, I haven't actually put together like what I think should be, like where should you be? Because there's really no right or wrong answer. But you can kind of look at that and go, I mean, you know, you want lower numbers. The lower numbers that you have, it's going to be so much easier, not only for money to come into your life, but for you to like be a container, an energetic container. Now, in my Abundance Unleashed class, we've talked about like you can be a container and you still want to be able to give back because it feeds the whole machine, right? You want there to be flow. You want to be able to give back. So that is something you want to have. But you know, the lower the number, the better you are. The higher the number, you're repelling money. You're repelling it, or you're like, it can bounce into your life and it bounces out just as fast. All right. So this is the starter of a conversation around, you know, these are the 4 energies that are blocking you from next level. And just a conversation of like, did it surprise you? You know, what are you thinking as you think about those energies? Is this stuff from your past that you've been carrying for a really long time? Like, maybe you had a family member. Like for me, I had one grandfather that was really wealthy, like rich grandfather. And then I had poor grandfather. And subconsciously I took on, see, poor grandfather was a really good man. You know, he would give anything to help a person. And he spent time with me. He was very conscious, very spiritual man, went to church, you know, like did all like the good man kind of thing. Then there was my other grandfather who was like the salesperson. He sold tires and he would sell a set of tires to anyone that walked in the door, whether they needed them or not. Like just like that icky, when we think of sales, like what you don't want to be, you know, and he never spent time with me. He didn't have time for me. So it's like in my mind, that was related to like time and money and love and connection and all of that. Right. And so anyway, I definitely had to clear some of these energies around money and what it meant to be the good girl and like all of that. So anyway, floor is open for discussion. So just unmute yourself and let's get into a juicy conversation about these energies and how they're showing up in your life.
I'll start off.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the guilt one, because I don't feel guilt about having money. I feel guilt about not having money.
Okay.
So it's completely, yeah, it's just, it's the other side of it for me.
Okay. Okay. Great awareness. And because it's a low vibe energy, it's still gonna get in the way, right? It will. I'm actually, yeah, I know.
Hate that.
So interesting.
I want to echo that because that was exactly what came up for me with guilt. I don't have guilt around having it because I know that I'm naturally a giving person. I have guilt about not having it because it's like I'm not pulling my weight. What does my spouse think? Just any of that. Yeah, it's guilt around the not having.
Interesting.
But I'm getting better with it. So some of my numbers were like, okay, well, right now in this moment, it's a 1, but it can quickly go to a 3. and
Okay.
come back to a 1. So there's movement, but it's there.
Great awareness. Was guilt your highest one then?
Um, not permanently. Like fear and guilt both go 1 to 3 and 3 to 1. Anger and shame, I think, are both generally at a solid 2.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. And as you can see, as we're talking about the energy, is there's also beliefs around that, right? You can't
Mhm.
like separate them, right? So
Well, and the shame thing, when you brought that up, I thought, oh no, I don't have shame, because I think of shame as being like the aftermath of guilt, right? Like shame is like that I've allowed myself to feel guilty so long, and now I'm into shame and I retreat. And but then when you said the not wanting to look at the bank statement, I went, oh,
right,
guess I do
Right.
have that.
right,
Yeah. Yeah. That.
totally. I can remember years ago working with a woman who had so much shame around where she was financially. She did well as a nurse, and she was quite accomplished in her career. And she had a son that was that had a medical condition, and she had gotten herself in a position where she went bankrupt. And this mom was carrying the shame of going bankrupt. And it was all, I mean, it was like, it's hard for someone like, you know, that you're like, oh my gosh, like that wouldn't even be in my awareness. But yet when we released that energy, she felt free. Like it was just amazing. A lot of it was energetic that, you know, and I realized how much it was holding her back from enjoying the level of wealth that she already had. She was doing quite well, right? But the fact that she had become bankrupt years ago, she was still carrying that, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What about you, Starlight? Pop in here.
I thought I was doing good until we got to guilt and shame a little bit. I feel guilty for what I would say is like squandering my talents and not really putting my back into it, because I kind of look back and go, I could be way further than I am right now if I'd have been smarter. And so there's an element of that around, like, I don't know if that might also be shame in there, a little mixed in. Um,
A
I
little,
know that
a little
my
guilty too, possibly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know that you know, my mom has spoken disparagingly of people with money my entire life, and I hear her voice every time I'm like, I'm about to make a fuckload of money, and then I hear like, and I just hear the tone that she would use in how she spoke of people, and how she just automatically classified anybody who wasn't like in the struggle into this group that I've kind of had a hard time letting go of, just because it's a belief that she verbalizes a lot in conversation, and so it's
Yeah.
difficult to like duck, dive, dodge the almost like the energy of it. But I'm definitely a like la 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 when it comes to the realities of a situation. Like, and I don't know. If I could have my way, I would like to hire somebody, give them my social security number, and go, just fucking figure it out and tell me, and I'll start sending money. Like, just don't,
Wow.
okay,
Yeah.
and I'll solve it. I don't even want to know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. It's like some
Oh,
kind
the
of avoider.
mom thing. The
Yeah. The mom
mom
thing.
thing, Starlight. Like my mom is the equivalent of pick your thing. She's either a dragon that hoards her treasure in her cave behind her, or she's
Uh-huh.
Gollum with my precious.
Uh-huh.
And like my mom is financially fine, but
Yeah.
like you say, I like terms like rich bitch and more money than God, and like all of these
Uh-huh.
things came up all my life. And my mom and dad had lots of friends that were wealthy, and behind their backs she would make these comments.
Wow. Yeah. And
Yeah.
going back to that, like that we are who we hang with, right? So it's like if that's the soup you're swimming in, it's hard not to pick some of that up, right? We like absorb it just like we absorb the water. And so I do think we've got to be really, really conscious. And yeah, we have influencers like mom, dad, aunts, uncles, grandparents, like that we grew up with. And it's amazing how much of that, even if we know it, right? There's this part that goes, okay, that's not true, or right. But it is a matter of like it's like a detox, right? I'm not sure. I personally do health detoxes, once or twice a year where I'm like clearing out all the junk, but like most people don't think to do like a money detox, right? Like all that stuff we've been carrying. And we pick it up. We pick it up. And sometimes we like drop it and then we pick it up again. Right. And it's just like be another layer of it. Yeah.
I think that's the 1 to 3 thing with me. Like fear, I've got like, yeah, okay. For quite a long time, fear has not been an issue, which was like crazy good, right? Like I can just remember sitting there going, why does this feel so good? I lost a client and yet I feel great and I'm not worried. And then with me being in that woman of a certain age and, taking the hit for all those women that say menopause never bothered them and I want to kick them. I have my days when I'm really, really struggling. And when my mood is struggling, yeah, it's like way over at 3 again. I mean, at least it's not hitting 5 anymore, but it goes over to 3. And I'm like, what was the difference between yesterday and today?
Yeah.
No difference in my bank account, no difference in what happened with my client base. The difference is what's going on in here.
Exactly. And I think for me, when I think of prosperity, there have been times when, I may be making more, right? But I might not feel as prosperous. Like we've all experienced that. Like there have been times, like I think of great example in college. I didn't have any money and I was just accumulating debt. But man, did I feel prosperous. I mean, I could just like put that backpack on and go to Utah and travel all around and camp and it didn't cost much money, right? And then there have been times as a mom with Maddie when she was young where I was like freaking out, right? And yet if I actually looked at my bank accounts, I probably, maybe I had a little bit more, but in reference, right? The difference of like what goes on in here and what is in the bank accounts, there could be a total disconnect, right? And I think for me, thinking about this, really be an advocate for women of like, let's learn to be prosperous and feeling prosperous, with whatever you have right now. Like you are prosperous, and not living a life of like mediocrity. Like if you really want like whatever the next level would give you. And for me, there's a big piece of the give back, right? Like that's one of the inspirational pieces for me that's the driver. But I also have a feeling like I don't have that, what I used to have when I was in my younger years in business, that drive of it has to be bigger, better, bolder, more, because that's just exhausting. So it's this dance of like, can we feel prosperous right here, right now? And I would say there's always space for that. There's never a time that you can't get into that place. And I did some traveling years ago. When I was 23, I traveled around the world. And I can remember back then, the Nepali people, the people of Nepal, they were at that time what I'd experienced, some of the poorest people. And yet they were so prosperous, right? Prosperous in their giving, prosperous in their connections, prosperous in the joy in their face. And yet they had nothing, right? So for me, that experiencing that and going, okay, I would never want to have to live that way, as far as like the, living with dirt floors and a fireplace and like all of that. But I go, you know what? Like we're all searching, right, for that happiness and that abundance that I think it's always here. And I think that is that's why one of the things in the trainings that I do is finding that place of, okay, feel the prosperity now, because it's here now, and open and receive like that next level that you haven't seen yet, but it's here and it's wanting to flood in. Hello, Rachel. Rachel's calling in from her iPhone. Fantastic.
Yes.
Yes, yes. Good to hear you. Are you in Florida
Thank
right now?
you. Huh?
Which Rachel is this? I was thinking it was
This is Rachel Taylor in California.
okay. It's another Rachel then. I thought you were another Rachel that was saying that she was going to join us. So let's talk a little bit about some of the beliefs that anchor in that really, it's almost like the energy of these different things. As I said, they're all low vibe energies and they will repel money. They'll repel it. And so first is getting real with what is. Like we can't change. I don't think that we can change anything until we just get really real with, okay, here and now. And I do love to train women to like feel these feelings in our body because you can feel the energy, right? And I think some of them stem from like teaching you ladies the energetics of it, but then also like the words and the beliefs, because that's another place that you can release them. So I'm going to give you just a little time now. I want you to go back to the energies, the ones that you score highest in, and just jot down some of the beliefs that you know, even if you've worked on it in the past, you know, some beliefs that are keeping you energetically bound by that feeling, by that energy. So just take a moment. I'll just give you ladies a couple minutes. Write down, brainstorm some beliefs. I'm going to actually give you 2 minutes. I'll put a little timer on. It forces your brain to really make it happen. Write as fast as you can. The more you participate, the more you're going to get out of it. So what are some of the beliefs that come up around fear, anger, guilt, and shame, specifically around money and abundance, the money piece? Got about a minute left. So any beliefs you might have around fear, anger, guilt, and shame. All right, time's up. So Rhonda said it just had a major aha. So of course we're going to want to hear that. Tell us, what was your aha?
My major aha, because this is like, you know, you go through the typical phrases of not enough, loss and lack, it's too hard, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden what came up was my parents didn't have it. Why should I? And I went, oh, I've never had that one come up before. That's interesting.
Wow. Okay. My parents didn't have it. Why should I? Okay. That's a big one. Are you ready to let it go? Well, we're going to do some letting of it go, letting it go right now. All right, ladies, what came up for you, and any surprises there, like the actual wording and beliefs? Like I actually went through it with you. For me, I was shocked, still a little bit of shame or embarrassment around like, well, if I make more, like next level, you know, what are my friends going to be jealous of me? Are they going to think like, am I not going to be able to connect? Like there can be that connection piece around, you know, what it would mean to go to the next level. So yeah, I was shocked that was in me, because like my friends wouldn't, but there's just something energetically still there. So what about you ladies?
I have a like, this will never last because things change on a dime, which I think is a funny turn of phrase in talking about money.
Okay. Yeah,
I'll
it
have to
totally is.
leave people behind to get where
Yep.
I want to go. I'll have to leave people behind. I'm reaching beyond my means of and abilities. Like maybe I'm being too optimistic about what I can actually accomplish or earn. Like nobody else has done it. Why? What signs are there that I can?
Mm-hmm.
I already give too much and have too little in comparison, right? And then I have to hustle my ass off or it'll never happen.
Oh, yes.
I don't like any of those.
No, I know.
Ew.
I don't either, you know, and yeah, it's funny you say I have to hustle my ass off. One of the things I did before I hopped on the call and I was going to share them, but I was like, quotes for prosperity. And I just wanted to kind of see what was out there. And one of them, I'm going to see if I still have it pulled up just so I could tell you what it said. And I was like, okay, this is why we're having this conversation. And it's so funny. It's like, and here you say it. So this woman online posted, prosperity comes to those who hustle and push their dream into existence. And that's what we're like, who wants to do that?
Yeah,
Right.
ew.
But we think we have to do the hustle. It's so masculine. Right. And to think that we could have grace in this. And I'm not saying that we're not going to need to work a little bit. Right. But really inviting the feminine of grace. Why can't this happen with grace? Right. Because each and every one of you are deserving of it for it to be really easy. And I'm not saying it's going to be really easy, but what I am saying is it's just a different perspective that's out there. I couldn't believe that. It's not that I couldn't believe that was out there. Like I'm the anti-hustle woman. I am always asking the question, how can we do this a lot more grace and collaboration and connection? And it reminds me when we're talking about money, and especially women who don't like sales. It's like when you think about sales is really an exchange with another person, you know, and it makes the world go round. It's a sharing of something that they need, and it's built through relationships and connections. And if we can just see it that way, it's like women can get really excited about that. You mean I could make more money like connecting more with people and helping them? Oh, then it doesn't feel like sales. So no sales ever made without some kind of connection. Even though we live in a world where it seems like everything's so disconnected, like, you know, even like an apple that I would eat today, like somebody had to pick it, right? You know, that there's a relationship and we can get back into, this is all happening through relationships. Yeah. So yeah, the anti-hustle and bringing the grace over the grit. All right. Any other, and then I want to do a little healing and then we'll wrap it up. Any other ahas or things that you want to share?
This is Rachel. Mine was do it and appreciate it, because when I did do it early on, I basically gave all my money away because my family just stressed me out.
Okay.
And so I need to now realize just gotta let it go and just do it for me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So we're going to do a short little healing here. We're not going to have time to go through it. Like I have a whole process, and Kim, if you want to put it in the chat, the peace and prosperity process, just so that if you don't have that already, it's a great tool. It's a whole guided process that I will bring you through it's all recorded. That you can start using today. I'm going to do more of the work for you and with you. But there's a whole process that you can go through that's really powerful, because I believe, again, energetically, when we can rise the vibration and let go of some of this lower stuff, you just let the light in and you just release. It is a detox. It's a detox, right? It's a letting go. So Kim's putting that in there. And also we are going to give you access to 11 laws to living the limitless that I came up with. And so Kim will make sure that you receive those 11 laws. They're laws of an abundant universe. So let's just take a moment. Who would like to, now when I work with somebody, I actually also work with all of you because we're all in this soup together today. But who would like to receive some potent healing energy so that you can receive more, hold more, and just up level your abundance? Who would like me to work with them today? Carmel, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So we're gonna I do this a lot of times. I'll do it with my eyes closed. Today I think I'm gonna I might do a little eyes closed, little eyes open, but I'm gonna encourage you because I'm gonna be asking you questions. And I know for me to feel energy, I have to close my eyes, but it's totally up to you. But which of the 4 energies that you score the highest in?
Well, I actually scored equally on fear and shame.
Okay, fear and shame. So let's do, this might surprise you, but shame is one of the lowest vibrations on the planet. It's actually lower than fear. Fear at least has some like energy to it, right? Even though it's not like good energy, but like things can move a fear. I'm going to work with the shame if it's the same. Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
So everyone's going to receive this healing of letting go of some shame. So as I said, I'm going to have everyone close your eyes because we all carry shame. You might not have shame around money, but you're carrying the vibration around something other kind of shame. So we're just going to clear it all out. So as you turn inward and close your eyes, just begin to take some nice deep breath. And we're going to pull up the file around money. And then come out, see if you can find where might, and it might just be a total guess, where might you be holding this shame around money? Where in your body might you feel it?
The first thing that came to mind was in my gut.
In your gut. Okay, go ahead and bring your, everyone follow along, and you might feel it. For everyone that's listening, feel where you might feel shame in your body and follow along with us. For Carmel, it's in the gut. And Carmel, what I want you to do is just begin to breathe into that area of shame and give yourself permission to actually feel it. And what I mean by feel it, not think about where it came from, but actually like tune in to the belly and just feel whatever you feel there. Give yourself permission to feel it. That's it. That's it. I actually feel it because I often feel what you guys feel. And from a scale of 1 to 10, how intense is it?
It's about an 8.
Okay, so it's pretty significant. So what I'm feeling it as, it's almost like a constriction, like a tube is what I'm feeling, but you might feel it differently. If it had a color, what color might it be?
Get started here in about 10 minutes.
Red.
Okay. So just breathe into this area. In fact, allow it to do its thing. And ladies that you're listening, wherever energy that you're holding around shame, just tune in. And just see if you can allow it to do its thing. As you bring this breath of unconditional love, peace, and acceptance. And Carmel, what I'm seeing for you is I actually initially saw it kind of like a tube. And then what I saw is kind of just like, almost like a hose. It just released. It just released, like allowing there to be flow. That's it. What are you experiencing right now?
A little bit of relief.
Okay.
Still feels like there's something there,
Okay.
but I can see spending a little more time breathing.
Beautiful. So
Yeah.
just continue to be with it. I think the most important thing as we're experiencing this, and everyone as you're listening, to actually don't try to change it. I know that sounds weird, but like the invitation here is just to be with it. And so as you're being with it, sometimes the energy will increase before it decreases. So I just want to let you know there's no right or wrong way to do this. It really is about bringing presence to the energy that's there. And like a comforting mother, bringing your unconditional love to just this energy that got blocked somewhere along your journey as it relates to money. That's it. You got it. And everyone following along, just continuing to breathe your breath of unconditional love for your journey around money and the energy of money, as you're willing to just feel what you feel and to be present. And once we can be uber present to what is, uber present to it, it will energetically begin to shift and change because it cannot change. That's it. That's it. What are you noticing now, Carmel?
Not sure.
Okay. Can you find it? Can you still find the area?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay. Has it changed in size?
Ooh. I didn't think about the size of it.
That's okay. Did it change in color?
It's still red.
Okay. Did it change in intensity?
Yes.
Beautiful. Where are you now? And there's no right answer.
I would say I'm probably down around a 5.
Beautiful. So there's a change. And in your case right now, it's going down. Now, what we do know is when we do this for an extended period of time, if you're doing it with yourself right now and it's rising, know that eventually it'll rise and then it'll drop down. So where Carmel is right now, it didn't rise at all. It just went into that decrease, right? What we're really looking for and just noticing is just change, and it can be minor changes, but it can't not change. The invitation here is to be patient with whatever's present for you. There's no right way. We let go of the get it right girl. She's not invited to this party, this prosperity party. Being with what is and deeply appreciative of the journey. That's it. Keep on breathing. Beautiful. And now, Carmel, what is your favorite flower? Do you have a favorite flower?
I have a few. But I would say for how it looks, my absolute favorite is a calla lily.
Beautiful. That was the flower that I used that we had in our wedding. So there you go. Imagine a beautiful calla lily, and ladies listening, choose your flower and place it in your mind wherever you are working, bringing beauty to this area and grace to this area and acceptance to this area, knowing that it is changing. All right, so go ahead and plant that flower, bringing beauty, bringing grace as you continue to release the energies that no longer serve you. And then when you're ready, you can all open your eyes, coming back into the room. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. So how was that for you, Carmel?
It was good. It
Yeah.
was good. It was I find it difficult to focus on where things are showing up in my body. Like I don't always know where it's showing up.
Yeah.
Like it takes a lot of work for me to
Okay.
figure that out.
Okay.
So it was interesting to just kind of go along and be like, okay, what's here? What's showing
Yeah.
up? Where is it? And
Absolutely.
feel like, well, if I don't get it exactly right, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, and I actually felt at one point the sensation kind of moving up,
Yeah. Okay.
and coming
Yeah.
closer to my heart.
Beautiful. So something may have opened up. As I said, when I was tuning in, I was seeing it almost like a hose. And then the hose kind of just disintegrated into nothingness, like an openness, right? So what could have happened there is something just opened and the energy moved. But you do bring up that important point that we're all different. So some people feel things, see things. Some people will go through that and they're like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting it. Like there's no getting it. Like just the ability to focus on an area of your body that even, and sometimes it's great to ask like, well, if you did know and you're a little kid and you're exploring with like your flashlight in a basement, just like pick an area and breathe there, right? Like we do get more and more in tune with our bodies. And I don't think there are many people really talking about the energetics of next level money and abundance. Like it does give us permission to like be in our body. We're safe. And as women, we've had so many experiences where our body maybe wasn't safe that we disconnect, or that's just not how, maybe we're more visual. Like there's no right or wrong way, but that invitation to really be with it and breathe through it. So thank you. Thank you for participating. So this energy will continue to shift the next 24 to 48 hours. So I'd love to hear back from you if you're noticing like money might show up, like some crazy things can happen. And I always love to hear on the back end. So, so thank you. That was really beautiful. And does anyone else want to share kind of as you were on that journey with us, you all were changing also, whether you realize it or not? Does anyone else want to unmute of what that was like for you being in that group energy of healing?
I liked that very much.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. So what I would like to do, one of the things I think is really awesome in these gatherings is the opportunity to have an ask. And we're not going to be able to go deep into this today because we're coming up on time. But if there's something that you're really needing, and sometimes it's like a reference or a connection, or it could be a number of different things, but I love to have space for the ask. And I don't think women ask enough for help. So that really in and of itself is a beautiful lesson so that you can receive it. So, okay, Carmel's leaving another meeting. Okay, no problem. No problem. Do you have an ask?
This one's always really tough for me. I
Yeah,
never know what to
okay.
ask for.
That's okay. That's all right. At the very least, you could ask for a follow on your favorite social media platform.
That would be awesome.
Okay. And
Yeah.
how can they find you and what's your favorite platform?
Well, actually, I guess right now I'm promoting an event.
Yes.
I know that at least 2 of you know about it. If you wanted to share it, that would be spectacular. That would make me super happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the event, or like how can
Yeah,
they?
it's our A&E. It's an in-person A&E accelerated networking event on August 9th.
Okay. Awesome.
So I can tag you.
There you go. Tag.
I'll
Tag.
tag you.
That's hot. That's hot.
That's hot.
All right. What else? What are some other asks? And they can be big. They can be big too. Like,
so can I ask you to forward those to me so that I can play along? But I have to go.
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Kim, take note. Can you help Carmel with that and all of us?
Thank you.
All right. Absolutely.
Hi, Carmel. I have a dope ass webinar I'm doing on Friday on how regular schmegular people need to be on TikTok because it's an absolutely insane place for unmitigated audience growth. And so it's basically like TikTok for business baddies who aren't sure about TikTok.
That would be like me.
Yeah, I would love to invite you. I would love
Okay.
if you look at it and you're like, oh man, this is something my audience would dig. Like I'm kind of just using it to get me out there in a bigger way, and it's gaining traction, and I'm excited to see the numbers cranking up. And so I would love to push that little boat with even more momentum.
Beautiful. Can you
I'll
put the link in, or how can we how can we find out about it?
I got the link right here.
All right. Fantastic. That sounds awesome, Starlight.
There you go. Feel free to share away.
Yes. Rhonda, do you have an ask?
I can't really think of one off the top of my head. I mean, my big ask right now is just if people know others. Oh, Starlight, I just pulled that up. That's a great image. That's
Thank you.
fantastic. If people have connections, colleagues, others they know that are in B2B or B2B to C, and they might need a writer,
Okay.
consider me. Maybe connect us if that's something. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Absolutely. All right. Thank you, Rhonda. And then Rachel, on your iPhone, do you have an ask for our group? You're muted. I went ahead and said ask to unmute. I'm not sure if you're still following along. She may or may not be. All right.
How about you, Miss Kelly?
Oh, gosh. Thank you. The ask. We're going to do another one of these things in 2 weeks. So come back, share. When are we doing it? Let's see here. On the 16th?
Yeah.
Same time. Same time.
Perfect.
Really wanting to build community of supporting one another and up leveling. And I always pick like a
You
little
said-
topic and we all do them differently every time because I get bored with too much structure. So I'm going to be in flow and would love to have you guys come join us again. And I'm also doing, if you are looking for a coach to help you quantum leap, there's an opportunity you can just go to drkellyshu.com and sign up for a strategy session. Let's get in your business and let's talk about the real stuff so that we can see where's their opportunity. You know, is it strategy? Is it mindset? Like, what do you need? And that's free. That's free to jump in and see if, see how we might be able to work together or not, but I jump in with a lot of value. So that will be available to all of you. Let's do a round robin. What was the big aha, what I call the golden nugget of us gathering for you today? So, Starlight, you want to go first?
Sure, I can. So the 4 areas of energetic blocks was kind of a thing because I was like, oh, fear, anger. I'm not even worried about those. And it was like guilt and shame. I can see how that can definitely be tied into some blocks. I thought I
Yeah.
was doing fine. And then it was like, oh, there's actually a whole freaking wellspring of interesting things to unravel here. So I really liked that. Yeah.
Awesome.
And I loved the meditation. Yeah.
Fantastic. 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 What about you, Rhonda?
Mine was that thing about my parents didn't have it. What makes me think I should?
Yeah.
That's because I don't want to live the way they lived. I don't want to be them. I don't
I'm
want their
glad you have an
baggage.
answer. And I'm going to encourage you to do that peace and prosperity process. And I know you know that.
Yeah.
Just like energetically, the fact that it bubbled up, it is a thing. It's just in the
Yeah.
conscious now. And what's
Yeah.
beautiful, it was in subconscious, so you didn't know it was there. And so this is next level for you, sister.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear. I can't
Yeah,
wait.
it's a big one. I don't need that. Not that I don't love them. I just don't need to be them.
Exactly. Oh, totally. Totally. And I'm not sure, we haven't heard from Rachel. Rachel, if you want to, I think she's gone, possibly. All
Those
right.
phone connections are so dicey.
Yeah, I know they can be funky. All right, ladies, it's a wrap for tonight. Come join us in 2 weeks and lots of love to you. So many blessings. And
Thank
get
you.
back to me. Let me know the miracles happening.
Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.